first wave knocked out all the power. Then the second wave hit. An earthquake strong enough to shake the entire planet.
Cassie! Okay, I got you.
With the third wave, disease spread across the world. By the fourth wave, they were among us.
How are we supposed to fight them if we don't even know what they are?
What are you?
They took everything from me.
My sister's coming.
Damn! This is our world.
Imagine a cab that's always on time. Imagine experiencing luxury and class at no extra cost. Introducing the new Prepare Taxi hailing app. Download the app today and experience love at first ride.
I've been on the forefront for corruption.
And that's a good place to begin.
A lot of this corruption happens because private sector and government are in bed together.
We've had this talk many times.
How drastic should the measures be taken? Because we can't keep on talking.
We don't see any action. The president has the ability to actually fire people.
I like to ask a direct question for direct answers. The heart of humanity, how do you still have it when you're such a hardened soldier?
This is not about you, it's not about your life. It's about the country that I serve.
This is where the real conversation happens.
Just move to the next level with the Daily Nation. Every day, every Monday, Junior Sport will move you to the top of your class with KCPE revision papers. To move to a healthier, fitter, and more conscious you, read The Healthy Nation every Tuesday. My network will inspire your career, your passion, your biashara, and your network every Friday. Just move to the truth.
I found out you really indeed had a colorful past, but yours is colored black.
I know that someday you're going to ask for help from someone like me.
Accept that as my gift for being our partners.
I rarely fall in love, but when I do, it'll be forever.
You had a grandmother who took care of you, and yet you grew up into a lying, deceitful, cunning thief.
That isn't true!
Oh my! Hey! He took my bag!
Hold this!
Julio!
Hey!
Help! There's a thief!
Sour Shower has never been better with the new look Sour. Now with a new formulation too that will leave you feeling fresh for longer, while the soap lasts even longer.
More than half of Mozambique's adult population is unbanked. I'm in the capital city, Maputo, to find out why, and also how technology could be used to bring about greater financial inclusion.
When you go onto Google and you say, right, what is there to do in Ghana? A lot of it is historic, but there wasn't actually something that was for the adrenaline junkie, was an action sport, and that's kind of why ATV Abri was born.
Hello, welcome to Greenkeeper Africa. We work on everything related to the environment.
With Lipa na M-Pesa, you get more.
Lipa na M-Pesa.
Every 100 shillings spent on Lipa na M-Pesa earns you an entry into the draw. Do more with Lipa na M-Pesa. Sonadol Extra imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli kupambana haraka na maumivu ya kichwa, mwili na hata meno. Sonadol Extra, hakika maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
This is NTV.
Good afternoon, you're watching NTV at 1. My name is Olive Barrows, and also standing by we have Seth Olale outside the Karen home of the former Sports Cabinet Secretary Rashid Echesa, and we also have Ken Mijungu outside the EACC headquarters, and that is at Integrity Center, where the Garissa Governor Ali Korane is being questioned over the use of 233 million in donor funds. We start with Seth Olale, who is outside Rashid Echesa's home in Karen, and where police are currently conducting a search at his home. And this follows a 2-hour standoff between the former CS and detectives after Echesa denied them entry. Seth Olale, I hear that the detectives had to jump over the fence. Is that accurate?
Yes, you're right, Olive, and this is because Rashid Echesa simply refused to refused to allow access for the detectives to enter his home here in Karen, and they had to wait for about 2.5 hours in order to just decide to jump over the electric fence and gain access. But as soon as they were in the compound, Echesa did come out, and he was officially served with that such warrant from the court. And thereby, after we saw Brian Haemba, who is Rashid Echesa's lawyer, arriving here in Karen, and the moment he arrived, the detectives, together with Rashid Echesa and of course his lawyer Brian Haemba, accessed the house. Now the search warrant is ongoing, but again, like you mentioned earlier, there was a standoff here because the police managed to come here at about moments after 9 a.m. and they wanted to gain access into the compound and into the house. According to them, they are supposed to look for vital documents that will assist them in the ongoing investigations, but that was not taken lightly by the occupant of the house, who includes the former CS Rashid Echesa, who insisted that his lawyer has to arrive here before he can allow the detectives to enter his house. But the police could not wait any longer, and they chose to jump over the electric fence, which is just behind me here at Karen, and that led to Kaemba arriving here very fast, and now we're being told that it's now about 45 minutes since that particular exercise began. According to detectives, they also want to confiscate some of Rashid Echesa's vehicle. Those particular motor vehicles are high-end vehicles. Are being informed that up to 5 vehicles are right inside this particular compound behind me. We're talking about a Lexus, we're talking about a Mercedes, Toyota V8. We're also talking about a Passat. There are about 5 of them. I've mentioned 4, but of course, these are some of the vehicles that the police say that they contain evidence and some of the exhibits that maybe they are likely to present in court. But also very close sources within the DCI are informing us that some of those cars were actually acquired illegally, and so they are subject to investigations which will include forensic examination of some of the documents pertains purchasing of a car, that is the logbook. And it will be interesting to see in the coming days whether Echesa will be allowed to, have back his 5 vehicles. So that is what is ongoing here in Karen, and of course we'll keep you up to speed. It is also important to note, Olive, and the rest of the viewers joining us live from Karen, that Rashid Echesa's fraud case is also tomorrow in court. That will be the pre-trial before the anti-corruption court. But as far as investigations are concerned, the police are here mounting another operation. They have a search warrant from the court. They have served it to Rashid Echesa's lawyer, that is Brian Haemba, and that one allowed the official operation in regards to searching and obtaining documents that the DCI believe it will aid in that investigation is concerned. That is the latest here from Karen, Olive.
Thank you, Seth Olale. And as I mentioned, Ken Mijungu is outside Integrity Center, and that has to do with the questioning of the Garissa Governor Ali Korane. Ken Mijungu, what have you been able to gather so far?
Yes, Olive, we've been able to know that the governor was supposed to present himself here, and indeed we are reliably informed that he was here.
The reason why he was summoned by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission regards the 233 million shillings that was supposed to go to the Kenya Urban Support Program. It's alleged that this money was withdrawn by the associates of the governor without the authority of the treasury and transferred to the municipality account, and then it was withdrawn in cash, and then his money was used for some projects. And the contention is not even as much in the money that was withdrawn, but the projects that allegedly this money went to. So the investigations that are supposed to be carried out by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission are only to determine if indeed the money that was withdrawn was used for the intended purposes. So that is the reason why they are asking him questions. And also he is the head of the county government, so indeed the buck stops with him. So even if the money was withdrawn by his associates, he has to answer that question, but more of where did the money go to after it was withdrawn, and why perhaps it was withdrawn without the authority or express permission of the treasury. So these are some of the questions that the governor is supposed to be handling, but we understand from a briefing that has been given by Yasin from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission is that he's being investigated for these funds, and they specifically want to know those areas. That's what interests the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. If this money from the World Bank, which is a donor fund, came in and was withdrawn, and if they were used for the intended purpose, and even if they were not used for the intended purpose, when they were withdrawn in cash, where was this money taken? So that is the subject of investigations right here, and we understand that the governor was questioned for a little bit, and then he left because they still need a lot of documentation and a lot of explanations to this, Olive. So as soon as we gather more information, we'll be able to tell you. But yes, Ali Korane was here and he was asked those specific questions. It lasted just a few minutes and then he left. So the investigations are currently underway. They expect more documentation, they expect more proof, they expect perhaps to question more witnesses, including going to the ground to determine exactly what could have happened to this money that was allegedly withdrawn in cash, something that the government really tightened its noose around, and it's really impossible to withdraw such huge sums of money from the government coffers or from the county government without express authority from the treasury. So the question is, if it happened, where did the money go, and what are these projects that this money went to? So that's the subject of the investigation. So they're not really saying that the money was stolen or anything, but they just want to know where this money ended, Olive. So that's the subject of investigations this afternoon.
All right, thank you very much. Kenny says he's been reliably informed that the governor was at the EACC headquarters this morning. Now, a section of students at Lenana High School have lost their property after a fire razed down one of their dormitories. Now, the fire broke out early in the morning while the students were on parade. The school's teaching staff and students managed to save some of the student staff before a team from the fire brigade helped put out the fire. NTV's Sharon Baranga was there and filed this report.
Around 7 a.m., when students and teachers of Lenana School were having their morning assembly, fire broke out in one of the dormitories. They then rushed to save some of their property inside. The dormitory was, however, destroyed. These are remains of what was Tomboya Dormitory at Lenana School. This dorm used to host 164 boys.
We moved in very quickly and evacuated some of the personal effects from the section of the dome that the fire had not gotten to that section. The level of destruction on personal effects for the student is very high. The entire section of the dome is affected.
There were no casualties.
There were no students at the time. The housekeeper had just locked the house and had confirmed that there were no students. We've also carried out a roll call, and all the students in that house are okay.
The school's administration suspects that the cause of fire could be as a result of electric fault.
We suspect electric fault because there was a previous incident in the same dome of an electric fault. It had been rectified, but we wait for investigations.
The affected students will be relocated to other dormitories as the school's administration works on a permanent solution. Sharon Baranga, NTV.
We move to Kisumu County, where the governor, Anyang' Nyong'o, has this morning unveiled an 8-member dream team that is expected to resuscitate and spur economic growth in the county, specifically in the areas of revenue collection, tourism, and the blue economy. Oko Kusa joins us from Kisumu. Oko, did the governor explain why he chose these 8 individuals to be part of said dream team?
Yes, of course, Olive, he explained exactly the reasons why behind the inauguration or unveiling of this 8-member team, which comprises of individuals from different sectors in this country. We are talking of Njoroge Kagwe, an economist. Part of that team is also a member of that team is Professor Chola Pala, consultant in culture. We also have James Odede, the CEO of Lake Hub, James Nyamweya, career civil servant, Joy Mboya, who is the founder of Go Down Arts Center, Bire Chathe of Kibos Sugar Company, Ki Chong Li Kwong, the group chair of State Bank of Mauritius, and of course finally Peter Odoyo, who is the chief administrative secretary in the Ministry of Defense. So these 8 individuals, according to Professor Nyong'o, who of course will be chairing this particular task force or a dream team, as he calls it, says that their work is sort of well cut out. They'll be looking into areas to do with revenue collection, as you mentioned there, Olive, that as we speak now, the county government of Kisumu is experiencing or facing some challenges to do with the revenue generation or collection. And now the governor says that that was during his address. He had actually admitted that the county was facing some challenges as far as revenue generation is concerned, and therefore is hopeful that with the team in place that they will be working towards improving that aspect of planning and development. And again, also he spoke about plans to address the challenges being faced in the sugar industry. Remember, there has been a lot of problems bedeviling the sugar sector in this Kisumu County, where we have like 3 government or state-owned sugar factories that are nearing collapse. We have Moroni, we have Chemelil, all have been facing a lot of challenges in terms of production, and therefore this particular Dream Team will also be looking into ways of reviving and fixing the problem in the sugar industry in Kisumu County. And then finally, of course, he also mentioned something to do with rice farming. Kisumu is also known to produce rice, but farmers have been facing challenges, especially when it comes to marketing their produce in the wake of stiff competition coming from rice imports. And therefore, this particular Dream Team, again, will also be trying to just sort out the mess in the rice farming sector. So in a nutshell, that is what was unveiled this morning. And of course, the governor is optimistic that the Dream Team will actually turn around the fortunes of Kisumu County. Back to you, Olive.
Thank you, Oko Kusa, speaking to us from Kisumu, where the governor has unveiled a dream team, a team of 8, who he says will resuscitate the county's economy. Now, in the meantime, governors from Rift Valley are currently addressing the press on arrangements for the upcoming Nakuru BBI rally. The governors are looking at how to mobilize for the rally, and the meeting comes as the conveners plan how to make inroads in the region, seen to be increasingly leaning towards the deputy president. Kennedy Muredi is there, but let's listen in.
Has a different agenda from the ones that you've seen already. What would your take on that be?
I'm not aware, but as you can see, we're governors and we are saying already we've agreed that BBI is a good thing and we must not be left behind, and that is why we are saying we are going to Nakuru. I have never heard of anybody else saying, if there is anybody who has said that, I would be more than willing to listen to that person.
Governor, just a question. What comment would you make about those members of parliament who walked out of the meeting in Meru, and what going forward would you advise?
You know, in this country, freedom of expression is enshrined in the Constitution. So I think that is something that they need to respond to themselves. Thank you.
We still like Cast TV and media and everything which are related to
We'll get a more comprehensive brief from Kennedy Muriithi at 4 p.m. on what else was resolved by those governors ahead of the BBI rally in Nakuru. Time now to pay the bills. We'll be back shortly.
Rashes again? Kiss Kids diapers. Kiss Kids, no rashes. Kiss Kids, no rashes. Bye-bye rashes. Buy diapers. Choose Kiss Kids.
Building tips for high-rise buildings should be bought from reliable sources. Strength of the cement must be a minimum of 42.5. Sufficient curing time with constant pouring of water. Must be KEB certified. Exactly 50 kilograms guaranteed in each bag.
Adding strength to Kenya's landmarks. Power for specialized constructions. Cementing the nation's future. Simba Cement, the strength and pride of Kenya.
Now also produced in Nakuru and Mombasa.
March the 3rd is World Wildlife Day, and to celebrate, the Kenya Wildlife Service will launch the Rowan Antelope Recovery Plan at the Ruma National Park in Homa Bay County. The event will be presided by Tourism and Wildlife Cabinet Secretary Honorable Najib Balala. You can catch it live right here on NTV 10:30 a.m. The theme is Sustaining All Life on Earth. World Wildlife Day on March the 3rd.
I've been a sinner, hata maji niliombwa nikasema sina. Always wanted to be a singer, but along the way I think focus ilibaki sina.
Nataka niwe nawe, tuwe tu milele. Mimi nawe ni mimi nawe ni mimi nawe. Kazi ya Mungu kweli haina makosa. Ingekuwa binadamu wanatoa ningekosa. Sio juju ni maombi.
Nikupike na kapete, 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 kapete. Foto, kisha chora namba kwenye telefone. Telefone, leo tujua.
The heat
of the country's judicial system. The court's championing the merits of settling matters, if possible, out of its halls. And former Chief Justice Willy Mutunga was an avid proponent of the alternative dispute resolution mechanism. Joining me now to speak on the second International Arbitration and ADR Conference, which takes place in Mombasa between Wednesday and Friday, is the CEO of the Nairobi Center for International Arbitration, Lawrence Ngugi. Happy to have you with us on set this afternoon. Can you tell us what's the objective of this conference?
Thank you, Olive. The Nairobi Center for International Arbitration has organized the second international conference, an ADR conference in Mombasa, with the main aim, first, of creating awareness of the existence of these alternative methods of dispute resolution, showcasing Kenya's capacity in offering dispute settlement for international disputes, which are of cross-border nature, and also providing an opportunity for practitioners in Kenya to engage with their international colleagues to come abreast with the recent developments in international dispute settlement. So that's the main purpose for this conference.
Okay, so who do you expect to attend and who will be speaking? Because I went onto your website and saw that there's still time to register.
Yes. The target for this conference mainly is ADR practitioners, those people who are involved in arbitration, mediation, adjudication, and those other forms of dispute resolution. Key business decision makers. All businesses have, at one point or the other, to encounter disputes. And so those people who are involved at making decisions as to how, where, and when disputes shall be resolved are also targets of this conference. And of course, practitioners, students in dispute resolution, lawyers, mainly people in the legal departments of various corporates, public institutions, because we say disputes is a part and parcel of every business and social transaction.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, in terms of the conference, what is the theme?
We are tracking the ADR development in Africa. We are saying that it is business unusual. Previously, the trend has been that disputes which arise in Africa or concerning transactions in Africa have been exported to be resolved outside of the continent. In the last 2 decades, a lot have changed, and Africa has built its capacity to handle those disputes. So this conference aims at showcasing that capacity, which exists continentally, regionally, but specifically here in Kenya.
Okay.
Yes.
So what has been the uptake in your experience ever since former Chief Justice William Mutunga started advocating for alternative dispute resolution? Has it been as high as you would expect?
Well, Olive, if you have regard to the recently released report by the judiciary, there has been a tremendous change in attitude. The judiciary introduced the court annexed mediation program, and a lot of cases, the last figures I looked at, about cases worth about 2 billion have already been resolved, and that's 2 billion released back into the economy. When we look at our own figures at the Nairobi Center for International Arbitration, because we do conduct arbitrations and mediations, we have now a case portfolio of about 4 billion Kenya shillings. Those take about, in the whereabouts, about 100 days to be resolved, greatly cutting back the time that is spent in resolution of a dispute. In that sense, we have seen an increased awareness and also uptick of these other alternative methods of dispute resolution, and therefore releasing the courts to concentrate on those cases that courts must resolve, and also giving more opportunity for the courts to reduce the backlog of cases.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, we've had President Uhuru Kenyatta time and again talk about how court cases delay the implementation of development projects. So you're saying, as far as businesses are concerned and contracts, Kenya now has the capacity to resolve disputes through ADR?
Indeed so. Every business person enters into a transaction with the aim of making a profit. No one ever enters into a business transaction with the aim of being caught up in resolving a dispute. So for them, managing that risk is paramount and priority. The Nairobi Center for International Arbitration has in the last 3 years been building that capacity to enable the country be able to handle not only domestic, but also international cross-border disputes right here in Nairobi. And that capacity is there. That is part of what we shall be showcasing in this conference in Mombasa come Wednesday.
Okay, so the purpose, what the Nairobi Center for International Dispute Resolution does is build that capacity.
I could put it one way, yes, build the capacity, but also offer the service. Before the setup of this center, we did not have an institution that would take disputes directly, facilitate, if you think of it as a triangle, parties looking for someone to resolve their disputes. On this other hand, an institution that can link them to the people who have the capacity, arbitrators, mediators, adjudicators, to resolve their disputes. So we have now provided that link. And in the last 3 years, we have seen disputes resolved, as I've said, in less than 100 days, some of them a month. That's quite a game changer in the industry of dispute resolution.
Okay,
yes.
Right, this is a conversation I think that can take us all afternoon, but you're saying it just makes business sense.
It does.
All right.
Yes.
So the conference takes place between Wednesday and Friday.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Wednesday and Friday.
In Mombasa?
Yes.
All right. No, just Wednesday and Friday, not Thursday?
Or
Wednesday through to Friday?
It starts off Wednesday through to Friday.
Okay.
There is a host of competent, accomplished practitioners from around the globe. Many of them who are well renowned in this area. We'll be discussing topics which have a direct link and impact on businesses that have been conducted by Kenyans, by non-Kenyans, which I believe will be of interest to any in this field.
All right, there you have it. There's still time to register. Go on to their website. It's www.
ncia.or.ke.
All right, ncia.or.ke. All right, they say train a child on the way they should go and they will never depart from it. A school in Trans Nzoia has decided to do just that by cultivating democratic values among students by giving them the power to choose their leaders. Ruth Sarmwe has compiled the following report.
At Hilltop Preparatory School in Trans Nzoia County, the students have been given the power to choose their leaders. Here, the school's administration does not interfere in the processes of choosing the leaders for the pupils. Instead, they have vested that power in the pupils themselves. Just like the country, the school has an electoral board, and according to the electoral chair, the election period was just as thorough and rigorous as the national one.
The first process was to advertise the posts for the school, and we had a very tough campaign. People were campaigning, and we had the second day. The second day was now the podium campaign. They were sending their manifesto to the voters, and now today we have finished voting, and the best candidates have won.
This year's exercise, the topmost position, the school presidency, was won by a girl, overturning a long-standing tradition of boys being elected to this position.
The campaign was good but tough. I thank all my supporters for supporting me through this period. I think it was hard work and hearing people, what they are saying, and respecting everybody, small and big.
For inclusivity's sake, the presidential runners-up in the race is not left behind, but automatically becomes the deputy president.
My message to the winner is that she had to work with the teachers hand with hand, with respect also to be disciplined.
Michelle is promising to work with the school administration to implement her manifesto, and the management has developed a culture of ensuring leaders are able to actualize their pre-election promises by offering the required financial assistance.
Prefects tell the president what they want, and indeed this time they were telling us they want the swimming pool, and I think it is in pipeline. Our director promised us that we are going to have a swimming pool by the end of this year.
Ruth Sarmoi, NTV.
And with that report by Ruth, we now cross over into the sports world. We are now joined by Ida Waringa. Ida, over to you.
Very good afternoon to you, Olive. And yes, indeed. Let's get into the world of sport, where the national boxing team, the hit squad, has returned from Dakar, Senegal, with only 2 boxers qualifying for the Tokyo Olympics Games at the African qualifiers, where Kenya was represented by 13 boxers. Well, Captain Nick Okoth will be making a return to the Olympics after a 12-year absence. He will be joined by Christine Ongare. Okoth bagged a silver in the featherweight category after losing to Zambian Evaristo Mulenga in the final. Commonwealth Games bronze medalist Ongare beat Uganda's Catherine Nanziri in the flyweight box-off to book her ticket. During the last Olympics, Kenya was represented by 3 boxers. That was Rayton Okwiri, Peter Mungai, and Benson Gisharu.
And she really did show some very, very impressive punch variety.
Is expected to name his final squad for the Turkish Women's Cup Invitational Tournament today ahead of the team's departure to Turkey. Olma is expected to reduce the squad to 21 players from the 25 who have been in camp. Harambee Starlets will use the tournament to prepare for April's African Women's Cup of Nations qualifier match against rivals Tanzania. Kenya opens her campaign against Northern Ireland on Wednesday. The ladies will then face Chile on Saturday and conclude their campaign against African giants Ghana. With the squad boasting of locally based players only, competition is expected to be high for the Auckland qualifier squad positions. And Nairobi City Stars' quest for promotion to the Kenyan Premier League stayed on track with a 2-1 win over Kenya Police that saw them extend their lead atop the National Super League. The win took the Kawangware-based side to 58 points, 7 clear of second-placed Bidco United, who lost to St. Joseph's Youth 3-0 at Thika Stadium. Vihiga United, who beat Administration Police 2-0, lie third on the log. Nairobi Steamer, who lost to Migori Youth, are fourth, with Coast Steamer, who saw off Modern Coast Rangers, complete the top 5. Shabana ended their 6-match winless run, edging Ushuru 1-0 at Gusii Stadium on Sunday. APS, Bomet and Administration Police occupy the relegation places. And Kenyans' love for speed on the road is legendary. In a bid to nurture the next Patrick Njiru, or just a way to give an outlet for speed merchants, the Tarmac Championship is the latest motorsport event in the country. The rubber met the road in Athi River, Machakos County.
15 drivers quenched their thirst for speed in the Tarmac Championship organized by Delta. Drivers have another chance to test their skills in Masinga, Machakos County later this month. Warothe Kiru, NTV.
Indeed, quite interesting there. Thanks, Warothe, for that. Let's move on to Real Madrid, who beat Barcelona in a thrilling El Clasico to move a point above their rivals at the top of La Liga. Now, it was all Barcelona in the first half, but Los Blancos came back energized after the...
I've been your host, Olive Burrows. Thank you for making NTV your channel of choice.
This is NTV.
I help women find independence by training them in fish farming. It's tough on my back, joints, and can cause headaches. Panadol Extra relieves multiple types of pain.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Molfix breathable surface developed with Airsoft technology is very soft and provides the best Molfix skincare.
I've found the best diaper for my baby's sensitive skin.
All babies deserve a high-quality diaper. You should also try Molfix.
Hanging out, it's my summer. Got my squad, we go harder. We got a little bit of feel good now. Let's have a little bit of
Benja ni bro wako, si ndio? Na feel like there's a bit of disconnect. I don't know, because I know the story vaguely.
So my hubby has a small brother that he actually never wants to talk about.
Benja si bro yenyu.
Nani alikuambia story ya Benja kwanza?
Benja ni brother yetu Drango, acha wewe unaruka. Benja, ni wewe?
Odila korina nitan, so chuchu sa sitan, uchela zega magitan.
I've been a sinner, hata maji niliombwa nikasema sina. Always wanted to be a singer, but along the way I think focus ilibaki sina.
Nataka niwe nawe, tuwe tu milele. Mimi nawe ni mimi nawe ni mimi nawe. Kazi ya Mungu kweli haina makosa. Ingekuwa binadamu wanatoa ningekosa. Sio juju ni maombi.
Nikufike na kapete, 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 kapete photo. Kisha chora namba kwenye telefone. Telefone leo tujua.
The Heat, in association with Coca-Cola.
NTV, turning on your world. The following program has been rated PG. It may contain scenes unsuitable for children under the age of 10.
Living in a trap house.
Una expect nani ya clean you uchafu iko hapa? You. Na kambocho wako? Yes.
University policy is to suspend students with fallacious charges and unproven accusations.
Unproven accusations?